Hi, Marilyn. Welcome back. It's great to see you again in the office.
Thank you.
Before we get started here, do you mind if we go over some informed consent again?
No problem.
All right. So, do you consent to video and audio recordings being made of mock counseling sessions and to these recordings being used to aid in the growth of counseling knowledge and skills?
I do.
Okay, you could just initial that right there.
Mm,
Thank you. Do you consent to the excerpts from these recordings or descriptions of them being used by the Grand Canyon University faculty and staff for the purposes of supervision, research, and/or teaching?
I do.
Excellent. You could just initial that. Thank you. Do you understand that any part of a conversation that is recorded and/or written down will be kept confidential?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you agree that you will not disclose any information that may identify you in the mock counseling session recordings? The information given will be fictional and you will use an alias.
Yes.
Right, go ahead and initial that for me. Thank you. Do you understand that Zoom will be used to record the counseling sessions and that Zoom meets both HIPAA and FERPA confidentiality standards?
Yes.
And then finally, do you understand that if the recording of the mock counseling session activates any suicidal ideations or other potentially harmful thoughts, that you will reach out to a professional in your area immediately? Neither GCU, the college, nor the counseling student will be held accountable if you harm yourself.
Yes.
If you could just initial that. And then by signing below, you attest that you have read, understood, and agree to the statements above as indicated for the mock counseling session recordings as required in the counseling programs. The checked box next to your printed name constitutes your electronic signature. Do you mind checking that box? Great. And then if you could sign your name right there electronically. Excellent. All right, thank you so much, Marilyn. Now that we've got that figured out and under control, what would you like to talk about today?
I don't know. Things have just been getting worse since the last time I was here.
Sorry to hear that, Marilyn. Could you talk a little bit more about why that is?
Well, there's been a lot of stress on my relationship and some with the family. My husband, he has just been so angry at me recently. He's throwing around these accusations that I'm addicted to painkillers. And it makes me want to go out and meet other people and get validation. But I love my husband. I just can't help it when he acts like that.
That must be really challenging, Marilyn. So you mentioned some painkillers. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, because of my foot, I had to get surgery, and that's what they gave me for the pain. So it's not a problem. It's prescribed, and I can stop whenever I want to, whenever the pain does. And I mean, I've been a little bit foggy lately, and I've made a few mix-ups, but he just takes it so far.
Okay. Sounds like your husband is really upset.
Mhm.
Do you think you could describe these mix-ups that you mentioned?
Well, there was one soccer game, my kid's soccer game. I missed it because I was really tired, and it's just because of the stress, and my mind just been, I mean, I'm getting a little bit older, 2 kids, it's because of that. But yeah, I missed that, and then I made a little mix up with a parent teacher conference. I wrote it down wrong, and the teacher called me when I wasn't feeling myself, so I think that's where it probably came from. But it's just been 2 minor mix-ups, and he just gets so angry. And I feel like my son is kind of upset with me too, but he's a smart kid. He'll know, he knows people make mistakes, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with me, Marilyn. So it sounds a lot like your husband is very upset with your behavior recently.
I mean, anyone that knows me knows that my family is the most important thing in the world to me.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm hearing is it sounds like your husband feels that you aren't prioritizing your family first, but you disagree.
Yeah, I mean, he also, I feel like everyone's attacking me right now. My work is also really upset with me.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What's going
Mm.
on at work?
Well, they sent me some termination notices, which I love my job. I'm the best, hardest worker. I just recently had a few no calls, no shows, but I think it's awful of them to expect me to come in when I'm in so much pain and be able to do my job properly. And like I said, I've been really tired, so I feel like this isn't my fault.
Yeah, that must be really difficult, Marilyn. I'm sorry you're going through this right now.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any reason why you might be calling off quite a bit, not showing up aside from your pain?
Well, I mean, the painkillers do make me kind of tired and foggy, but again, the stress is also a high contributor, and my husband's not making it any easier.
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely a lot of stress that you're going through right now. I'm really sorry that you're dealing with all of this all at once. So, Marilyn, I want to circle back to something that you mentioned earlier. So, you had brought up that your family is your priority. You disagree with your husband's perspective that you're not prioritizing your family. But it seems as though you're missing a lot of really important events. What do you think is keeping you from showing up for them?
Well, I mean, this never used to happen. This is very new. I used to be the mom of the year, and I was always there for them, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I'm hearing that this is a little bit out of character for you. These behaviors aren't really something that you used to struggle with.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at what has changed in your life from our last session where you felt as though you were meeting those needs of your family to this session where you feel that you're lacking those skills.
Well, I guess all that's really changed is the painkillers.
Okay. How do you think that's impacting your family and your work situation?
Well, I have been sleeping a lot more, and I feel like I've been taking more than I need to, more than
Mhm.
that's prescribed. I just kind of feel like it helps me relax finally, it makes me feel better, especially when he starts yelling at me. It makes me want some more of them. So I think it's beginning to become a cycle because then he gets more mad.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of been out of it, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with me, Marilyn. I know that must be really difficult to actually speak. So thank you for being so open today. So last session we had discussed some healthier coping skills. How have those been working out for you?
Well, the only one that I've really been able to use has been the painting.
Okay.
I actually ended up making one or two paintings, but with the kids too, it's just, and my fatigue, it's just been so hard to find that time for myself.
Yeah, I can see how that could be really challenging, staying in the same space with the kids while trying to find that moment for yourself to take a breath and be mindful.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it also seems like you enjoyed the painting.
Yeah, I feel like art really does help me escape and relax.
Okay. Well, some of my clients actually really enjoy this local pottery class. If that's something that you would be interested in trying out,
Absolutely, that sounds great.
excellent. Well, I can send you the resource on that. Maybe getting you out of that space and into a really neutral, creative location would be helpful for you.
I totally agree. That'd be great.
So, since you seem to enjoy the arts, what other art forms do you think you would maybe want to try out?
Well, ever since high school, I've always wanted to try piano. I've just never really had the time.
Okay, that's great. I love that introspection. And that's honestly a great goal to have. There's a lot of benefits to playing the piano.
We have one in our house and no one knows how to play it. So,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's another way you can get the kids involved as well. I know last session you had mentioned that being a concern of yours,
Mhm.
still being able to provide for the children while you are also taking care of your own mental health.
Yes.
Yeah, so that sounds like a really great idea. We can work together to find a piano instructor in your area if you'd like
Mhm.
to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wonderful. So, Marilyn, it's looking like it's about the end of our session right now. We've got about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else that you wanted to address before we move into setting our goals for this week?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it.
Good, good. Yeah, I feel like we made a lot of really good progress today.
Mhm.
Yeah. So for our first goal, I thought maybe I could come up with one, you could come up with one, and then we could collaborate on a third goal. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So I think your first goal for this week, maybe would you want to consider trying to like incorporate these coping skills into your daily life a bit more frequently?
Yeah, I think so. That's a good goal.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess I could be more on top of things, maybe set more reminders or get a calendar that I can see every day just so I don't miss any more events and can actually be there for my family.
I think that's a really great goal. Stay organized.
Mhm.
Have a visual aid to help you out. I think that's a really great idea, Marilyn.
Mhm. And then for the third goal, I think maybe something to do with the painkillers. I think one of the first steps with that is to separate the idea of physical pain from mental pain, you know?
Mhm. I think that's really great introspection as well. You're doing an excellent job being able to reflect on yourself.
Mhm.
I'm very, very pleased with the progress that you've made from our first session to this session in that regard.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you're worried about the painkillers, I could definitely refer you to someone who is specially trained to deal with those types of concerns. Um, we could also, you know, reach out to the physician who prescribed those painkillers to you
Mhm.
and work together as a team to see what we can do about that.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. All right, Marilyn. So that is our time for today. If you are open to another session with me, let me know and we can get you scheduled with my receptionist.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to cover before you go?
No, I think that was great. Thank you
Awesome.
very much.
Yeah, thank you for coming in today, Marilyn. You can get scheduled up front with Stephanie, and I look forward to the next time we see each other.
Me too.
Great. Good luck.
Thank you.